7 of Rime the Frost Maiden. I'm your DM, Samson Paul. Joining me, the rest of the party, we have Miranda, we have Nick, Billy, Nate, Matt, and Brian. Clara out for Thanksgiving travel tonight. How's everyone doing tonight?
Yeah,
There we go. Still quarantined.
I might literally be flawless right now.
Fantastic.
Wow, Nate.
Modern Clover, good to hear you're doing pretty good. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Well, anybody have big plans for tomorrow? Are we going late tonight? How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I don't have to work tomorrow, so I'm good.
I mean,
Yeah,
likewise.
me neither. I'll go late as you want.
We're going somewhere at 10 tomorrow, so...
Go as late as we want. Okay, that's what I had.
That's what I heard too.
I mean, that means I don't want to go
Sam,
till like 2 a.m.
Don't you forget,
I
we
can go
have to
later
be
than
at
11.
my parents' house at 9 a.m.
Okay.
So if I have to fight you,
Well, usually the fighting takes place later on Thanksgiving, and it's usually over politics. But anyways,
it's not my fault your grandma starts it, okay?
all right, that's enough of that.
This sounds personal.
Oh man, you don't know the half of it. We'll talk about that off stream, just to specify. So, we'll get into the recap of last week. You guys, as a party, decided to go venture and try to locate Lysander, who had gone missing in the night. Upon a little bit of searching throughout town, you came to the conclusion to search out the docks to see exactly where he might have gone. And from there, oh, wait 1 second. Someone's missing from the splash screen.
It's me, I'm missing.
There she is. So, upon investigation of that that ferry house that's on the docks, you guys kind of surmise that it might be best to travel north and check out Kaer Konig, where the Duragar were known to have a presence, and you had a feeling with the strange writing that was found on the note in a language that nobody but Carcass understood, that may be the place to go. You ventured north, stopping in Kaer Dinaval, resting out the heavy snowstorm that was coming in, and eventually making it to the fortress, the small stronghold in the hills that the Duragar had taken up. Infiltrating that in such a way out through the outer bunker and in through the back door, came across a number of Duragar and ogres as well, which were dispatched. To which locating the leader of the Duragar outpost and quickly dispatching him as well, as he did his best to trap the party with his lever and his spikes coming up through the floor that damaged nobody. Everyone just seemed to be ready for that, which was impressive, and I was kind of appalled. But shortly after that, made a quick glance throughout his bedroom, his chambers, and nothing to be found of Lysander until moving south through the fortress to where there seems to be a collection of different cells and prisons that are here. And you found Lysander, but you've also discovered that there are bodies laying in these prison cells, at least one that you've seen, just encompassed in fungus with mushrooms and other just really fungal looking things growing from them. But upon finding Lysander, you were able to release him from his cell. He obviously is very, very tired and looks to have endured a strenuous imprisonment thus far. But his luck looks to be turning up as the party has found him, and that's where we will go, is into the room where you found him. So you retrieve Lysander from the cell. You have not seen any enemies inside of this room. You've seen a bunch of cells that have been still locked shut. Lysander is out, but all seems fairly quiet, and you haven't noticed any other Duragar presence, as you may believe that you have dispatched them all.
All right. Well, Vega would probably want to look around and see what else he can see in the other cells.
Is Lysander injured?
He is hurt a little bit, yes.
Okay. Then Andy's going to approach him and say, are you in need of healing, or can it wait until we're out of here?
Well, a couple of you took care of me already, but I think I can make it.
All right, let me know if that changes.
Thank you much, ma'am.
All right.
Leon Ponte would simply like to chime into the group. What is our evacuation plan? Exactly what are we wanting to do, you guys?
How about you guys lead out the way you came in?
I think we should check the other cells to see if there's anyone else that needs help.
Yes, so Andy and Vega, go ahead and make your perception or investigation checks. I'll let you choose at this point to try to discern what exactly is going on in here.
That's a 14 for Andy.
Okay. And Vega?
Yeah, 20, not natural.
Okay. So you both are able to take a look around at all of these cells. You count 6 of them in total, 1 with Lysander in them, so 5 other cells. And inside of each of these cells, there is some sort of body. There's an elven body, tiefling body, a dwarf body. Just seems to be a variety of different bodies. But from your inspection of them from afar, they're not moving at all. And you see that they're just encompassed in these collection of fungoids, like some funguses mushrooming like you would expect to see on a forest floor, but then others seem to be intertwining and actually connecting throughout a distance. Some of these bodies are actually more encompassed than others.
Okay. Well, Andy is going to kind of study through one of the peepholes, and then she's going to turn to Lysander and say, do you have any idea what's happening here? Why they look like this? And she's going to kind of step aside so he can take a look if he likes. And she's going to say, essentially, I want to know if I can help these people or if they're beyond my assistance.
So Lysander wouldn't know very much, as a lot of his imprisonment had been in the unconscious state. Outside of the visitation from the Duragar here recently, he had not noticed any sort of disruption or noises coming from the other cells.
He's gonna follow her in there and say, well, I don't rightly know. I have a feeling that they had other plans in mind for me. Most of it I was out, so...
I see. And Andy is going to then try and do a medicine check, if possible, on the closest one, maybe the most recently fungused body.
Okay. So you'll need to get that door open first, so unless you can do it yourself, you will probably need some help.
In that case, Andy's going to turn to her dear friend Carcass and say, I could use your assistance again if you wouldn't mind lending it.
I will look in my bag and see if I have assistance.
Oh, I mean, you want to bust this door open with me?
Oh, yes, I do.
Great. And she's going to give the help action to Carcass.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength check to bust down this door.
That is a 24.
Yeah, that's actually enough to put both hands onto the bars. You set your feet back to give you enough leverage, and you pop it off of its hinges and set it to the side. Now you have an open cell.
Great. In that case, Andy will step into it and do a medical examination of the body inside.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
That's a 20, not natural.
You surmise that this individual that you're inspecting has been dead for about 3 days, and the fungal growth, being you chose the one that has the least amount, seems to be pretty recent, though you're a little surprised at how fast it sprung up. You notice that a lot of the centralization of the fungus is coming out through the nervous system of the body, so there's a lot of condensed fungi towards the eyes, towards the ears, any sort of orifices that they can also shield themselves from the light is what you're kind of noticing with that roll.
Okay. In that case, I think, let me see if I have this cantrip. Oh, we have the stones that Zizix gave us in our pockets with light cast on them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna take that out and hold it closer to the fungus. See what happens.
Yeah, nothing happens. They don't react as sentient beings or anything like that. It's just maybe if it was there for a prolonged period of time, there might be change.
Okay. In that case, she will go to one of the cells that has a lot of fungal growth on the body.
Okay.
And she will say, Carcass, you want to break down this door? I'll help.
Oh. Okay. I guess I will help again.
Thank you, Carcass.
Alright, go ahead and make a strength check.
And she'll end the help action again.
Okay.
That is an 18.
This one, it seems like it's maybe barricaded a little bit stronger. You're not entirely sure. This one's just not coming off the hinges as easily as the other one did.
This door cannot be moved.
Yeah, Zizix is gonna step up and say, "Oh, I think I might be able to help."
Oh yeah?
He's gonna get out his thieves' tool and attempt to pick the lock.
Okay. Go ahead and make your dexterity check with proficiency if you are proficient.
That's a 10.
With a 10, it seems like that this particular lock has given you trouble in the past, and it's continuing to do so now. So you're unable to pick this lock at this point.
Leon Ponte would very much like to confidently walk up and try a hand at picking the lock himself.
All right, go ahead and roll your dexterity check.
That would be a 6.
This lock also eludes you, peculiar enough.
Zizix is gonna like push him back and say, "No, I got this. Yeah, try again.
Sure.
Andy will pipe up and say, perhaps if you...
I'm sorry, what was that?
Perhaps if you work together, it might help.
Zizix got a 17.
A 17 will be enough for you to analyze the lock and figure out which tumbler needed to be pressed down, and you are able to turn that tumbler and open up the cell.
Why do you guys always doubt me?
I wasn't doubting you. I just thought two heads might be better than one.
It sounded like a lot of doubt there.
Not really. And she'll step through the cell to hold the light stone up to this body and see if there's any response.
Okay. How much time would you like to take to do this investigation?
Not very long. Since they're not sentient, she knows they're beyond help. So she'll probably just take about 30 seconds to hold it up and see if there's any sort of response, see if they're trying to animate the bodies somehow. And if not, then she'll leave it.
Taking out the light and holding it towards the various fungal growths that are coming out of these corpses, essentially. You do see some movement on these fungi, and you see there is a slow movement in one of the arms to where it starts to bend, but it can't bend fully, though you notice that it's trying to grab with its hand. Its fingers curl in ever so slightly, but with your passive perception you're able to spot it.
Andy's going to kind of furrow her brow and look back towards the group and say they're trying to animate the bodies. Do we know what they could need an army for?
That's a good question.
Well, maybe they don't have enough chocolate milk.
Andy looks at Zizix and says they don't what?
I mean, that stuff's hard to come by around here. So, I mean, if I had an army, could you imagine how much chocolate milk I could have?
Andy's gonna kind of grin at Zizix and say, I wish everyone that had an army thought like you.
So if I'd go that far, that could be a little scary.
Leon Ponte would like to head just a little bit back the way we came and just keep an eye out and make sure that we are not going to be ambushed from behind.
Okay, so you head towards the back of the room and kind of post up on the corner and look out from the doorway, I assume?
Yes, sir.
All right. Noted.
Yeah.
Rapier drawn in case anything comes, just noted.
And seeing him do that, I'm going to look down on my empty hands and think, where's my crossbow? And I'm going to go look for it.
Yeah, so you actually do recall where they stripped your gear and where they stowed it, and there is a chest just on the other side of the last cell that contains your items.
All right, and is that in a fairly closed-off area, or do we know if there's any enemies nearby?
The only exit is currently being manned by Leon Ponte as a lookout. So with all the prisoners that are existing here being no longer alive, this would be a fairly safe spot to go ahead and do what you need to do.
All right. I'm going to walk up behind LaPonte and say, good looking out. I'm going to go grab my gear.
Leon Ponte will simply give him a kind nod and allow him through.
All right. Doesn't take you very long. Since your body is basically your armor, it doesn't take you a long amount of time to equip your crossbow and grab your bags and stuff. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes tops.
All right.
Andy is gonna address the others and say, do we want to take care of these partially animated corpses now, or see if they come to haunt us later?
Vega will say, I'd say it's probably a good idea to just go ahead and get rid of them now to be safe.
Okay.
So I'm gonna walk up to one of them and cast Firebolt.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack.
That'd be an 18.
Oh yeah, go ahead and roll damage on this prone corpse that is covered in fungus.
That would be 8 fire damage.
Max damage, very nice. So with that, and I'm assuming you're going to go through systematically and other people are going to do the same as well with fire.
Yeah, Sandy's got Sacred Flame as a cantrip, so she'll do the same.
So that's radiant. I don't think Sacred Flame actually burns. With Firebolt, this actually catches things on fire. So you're going to be able to ignite the bodies, and they start to smolder and burn as the flame spreads throughout the body.
Okay. In that case, Andy will just say a prayer as he systematically burns them.
And that'll probably take about 5 minutes for you to go through and be sure every single one of them is caught up on fire sufficiently.
All right, works for me.
So during this time, Lysander would have become fully geared. There's a nice pungent smell in the air now with the burning bodies. That's certainly something that'll sting your nostrils. But fire works 60% of the time, every time.
I knew that's where you were going.
Thank you. What would you guys like to do at this point, as the bodies have been sufficiently smoldered?
I'm gonna exclaim, "Oh, it smells like a turd covered in burnt hair. We should get out of here, guys."
Andy kind of wrinkles her nose at that delightful simile and heads out. She makes her way out.
All right, once we get out of that room, I'm gonna turn to the party and say, "So, should we just go out the way we came, or I don't know, try the fucking front door this time, maybe?"
Leon Ponte will chime in. I do believe it is safe to go out the way we came, but if we are looking to rid this world of a little more evil, perhaps we try the front door and see if there's anything on the way.
I think that's a good idea. Whoever's making these bodies will only try to make more.
All right, well let's make our way over there then.
I'll follow your lead.
All right, very good. So with that, you guys make your exit from, let's see, I have the map here, from the southern room, and you head north towards the main entrance hall where you see the corpse of the ogre sitting in the cage, along with a few Duragar that had been slain here as well. And you see the main doors on your right, slightly ajar, but still very heavy doors.
And Lysander is gonna step up and look at these and ask, and turn to the party and say, "So which way from here?"
Leon Ponte, going off of his hunch, would say that we should try to go right and open these doors.
All right. I will agree with that. Carcass, you think you could help me get these things open here?
Yes, I will help you with doors.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, you can either each roll your individual strength checks or one person with advantage.
I'll give him the advantage. He's got a better shot than I do, I think.
With advantage, that is 23.
Yeah, that's certainly enough to shove these heavy doors open, and before you is the nightfall of the 10 towns with light snow, though it's not as heavy as it has been recently. So the path looks clear. You see no other Duergar in front of you, nor in the immediate vicinity either. Where would you guys like to go?
I'll turn to the party and say, what do you say we get back to the town and get some much-needed rest for Lysander here?
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, that goes double for me.
All right. So, I will take down your marching order at this time.
Leon Ponte would like to be in the back of the marching order, keeping an eye on our rear.
Okay, you're going to be in the back. All right.
I'll go ahead and lead the way again.
All right. So that looks pretty close. All right. So I would like for you to make a survival check at this point, as there's no true trail, so this is actually you navigating the party through the wilderness.
That would be a 13.
All right, so 13. You do your best to hug the mountain cavern, or the mountain that's to your right. You know at some point that you're supposed to veer off to the left to get back to town, but you're not entirely sure exactly when that point is, or if you had already passed it already at this point.
Okay, if that's the case, I'd like to stop and try and get our bearings better and figure out exactly which direction we need to go.
Okay. So if you would like to leave that up to the party to try to discern the way, since it is nighttime and the sun is proving no use during this darkness, let's go ahead and have a group survival check.
Do you want me to re-roll mine or keep my other one?
We'll do a reroll.
And are you going to ask for those one by one, or you want us to shout them out?
Just go ahead and shout him out, and I'll average it in my head.
6!
Okay, that was loud.
18 for Andy.
1, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
I got a 17 that time.
Did you hear my 18?
Sure did.
I also got 18.
All right.
16.
15, all right. So you guys get back together, and since you have familiarized with your surroundings, taking the time to really take it in, you're able to discern that you were supposed to veer left about 15 minutes ago back that way. So you kind of backtrack a little bit, and you finally get back on course with that group's survival roll.
All right, glad to be back on track. Let's get to this town.
The rest of your journey takes about an hour and 45 minutes, even with the little bit of a detour, as you would put it. And you're on the outskirts of the city, not too still in the middle of the night. There is no daylight coming out anytime soon. But once you get to the outskirts of town, where would you guys like to go?
I suppose we'd go for the inn, right? There's an inn here that we've stayed at before, isn't there?
If that was a question to me, then yes.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just head to the inn.
Andy
Alright.
will follow wherever you guys go.
Okay. So you make your way towards the Northern Light, the name of the inn in Caer Konig. You open the door and you find the innkeeper, and you also see Trovis, who has fallen asleep in his chair, with a couple bottles of wine next to him. And Allie comes and says, "Oh, you've made it back, and you found your friend, Lysander."
Oh yeah, we found more than that too. Above table, I don't remember who took it. We found that lantern, right?
Yes,
I think I said I took it, or did somebody else?
I believe you took it.
Okay. Then I'll say, oh yeah, we found more than that too, and I'll pull the lantern out.
And her eyes get really big, and she says, "Oh, my light and stars, you found our lantern." And she comes over and she has her hands out, and she says, "I'll hang this up right away."
All right, I will let you do that, and I'll give it to her.
And she takes it from you and quickly darts out the door, and she pops her head back inside and says, "Actually, maybe I'll have you do it, as your trunk can actually reach higher than I can."
Tall people problems. No problem. I'll come help you.
So, easy enough. You pop out, you give her the assist, and put the lantern on the hook, and you guys head back inside for some warmth, and Trove is still deep in his sleep. Corey comes out from the kitchen and says, here's that Allie was talking about the lantern, and says, "We were hoping you guys would be back tonight. We prepared some rooms for you to stay, free of charge, and we'll give you breakfast in the morning as thank you. How does that sound?"
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much.
That is.
All right, very good. You know the way. You've stayed here before. And she kind of gestures down to the hallway.
Andy will step forward and say, "I'll probably need to get a separate room. I wasn't here before." And she'll pull out her purse, like expecting to pay.
And she'll say, "Oh, Andy, just use the same room that you've been using with Velen. She has left a note saying that she will not be returning here, and that you would be fine on your own. So
Oh, okay.
she left this gold for you," as she pulls out a pouch of 25 gold.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, of course.
And I'm gonna turn to Andy and say, "So you know Velon?"
Yes, somewhat briefly, but yes. I was traveling with her before she sort of bestowed me upon your friends.
Well, thank you for joining the group.
Of course.
Thank you. And then he turns to the rest of the party, and thank you all for coming to find me.
Well, we know you would have done the same for us there, bud.
Damn straight. And I'm gonna turn to the barkeep and say, "I would like to buy a round for all my friends for their valiant rescue."
And the barkeep looks to you and says, "Well, I hope A simple lager is fine. We still haven't gotten our mead shipment in yet. We're starting to get a little worried, but a lager for everyone will be 1 gold and 2 silver.
Much obliged. Thank you much.
Anytime. Is anyone else going to order anything for the evening?
Leon Ponte would simply like to head to bed.
Okay.
Andy will drink the drink that that Lysander purchased for them and sort of lift it in his direction as a gesture of thanks. And when she does, she will then head to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, Vega's gonna drink that lager and go to bed pretty shortly after too.
All right. So everyone's gonna cheers for the round. It sounds like, and then make their ways to get some rest. Is that accurate?
Definitely.
Yes.
All right. Easy enough. Is there anything before bed that anyone wanted to do in the privacy of their room? All right.
No.
All right. Very good.
I said insert masturbation joke here.
Oh no.
But no,
So-
that's it. Just making masturbation jokes.
All right. Making masturbation jokes in the privacy of your own room. Perfectly fine. The morning rises and the sun is very briefly making an appearance between the very overhead, overcast skies above. The morning comes and you see Trovis is up, and it looks like he's cleaned up his little area in his armchair and having himself some breakfast. And let's see, I think Lysander would probably be the first to arise, and he would come over to greet you, and he says, "Ah, I see you've been found."
I have. Yes.
That's fantastic. I was a little worried for you because, it seems pretty perilous out here on your own.
You can say that again.
Well, I was getting worried just because it could be a little perilous on your own out here.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Very lucky to have a party that was so capable to find me in such short time, because that was a really rough day.
Well, I hope you found respite in your bed last night to be able to overcome the stresses of this ordeal that you've gone through.
Yeah, I think another good night of rest will get me back in tip-top shape.
I unfortunately can't relate to you because as a former adventurer myself, I had never found myself taken captive by one of my enemies, but let me tell you about one time. I was surrounded by a pack of goblins, and they wanted to take my friend's prisoner, and they nearly got him with a tiny net. The tiny net is almost impossible to get out of, and let me tell you, I took one swipe with those tiny nets in my sword, cut them in half, like spiderwebs meeting a hot flame.
He's gonna nod and smile at him. Very good. Very good, friend.
Very good indeed, and let me tell you about another time, if you don't mind. I mean, it doesn't seem like the rest of your party is up, and he's going to go into another story, and this story takes a little bit longer. And are you willing to oblige and listen to his stories?
until someone comes in to interrupt, yes, I'll listen to him.
All right, very good. And shortly into the 10th minute of this story, the rest of the party comes out from their rooms and joins you in the tavern.
Ah, yes, my friends have awoken. Come, please, eat. Please, now.
Leon Ponte would like to politely not join his friends for breakfast, but would like to journey out into the town and find a marketplace and/or shops.
Okay, very good. We will take care of that shortly.
And Zizek would like to tag along if Pointy will allow him.
Pointy will allow.
Okay, Pointy has allowed, and Leoponte and Zizix have left the building and went in search for a market. The rest of you, would you like to sit down and have breakfast, as complimentary breakfast was provided?
Yes. I don't want to offend the what's her name? I'm sorry, Amy? Is it Amy?
Allie and Corey, so you're
Allie,
close.
that's it. I don't want to offend them, so I'm going to eat fairly quickly. But I also would like to look for a market afterward.
Okay, very well.
I would like to sit and eat my food, but I will tell them, you can bring the food for my good friend, and I will make sure he gets it.
And Corey looks to you and says, of course, I'll have another helping of knucklehead stew for him.
Okay. And when it arrives, I will eat it too.
Of course. Alright. So,
I will actually eat this breakfast this time.
okay. With that, if there's nothing else.
At some point, I'm gonna ask Allie and Corey if there's a library in town at all.
Unfortunately, they do not have a library here in town.
Okay, I thought it was a long shot, just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, unfortunately, a library is just more upkeep on another building that they're short on supplies for.
Does anybody live in town that has a nice book collection?
Roll a D100.
Okay.
See if there's a random chance that there's a book connoisseur of sorts.
That would be a 36.
There is one woman here who is known to be a babysitter and has a collection of children's books.
Well, I don't have any children, so probably won't go pay her a visit. But thank you for your time and your information.
Yes, anytime. Enjoy the stew.
Absolutely, it's delicious.
Are you lying? Because you've had knucklehead trout for the last, what seems like, months.
I'm not lying. I'm being polite. It's not any worse than any other knucklehead trout I've had, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I was just prodding there.
And I would like to go back up to Trovis and ask him, hey, do you know if your friend Matt Winslow from Frozen Far and Expedition, is he open today?
Yeah, he should definitely be open today.
Would you happen to know if he's gotten any new shipment of tents in?
No, I think you guys had just bought him out, no longer than a 10-day ago. It seems that no one else is Well, it might be worthwhile to go check it out and see if anyone had come by and traded some tents in that they may no longer need.
Might be worth a shot. Thank you.
And cue to Frozen Fire Expeditions, as that is the only shop in town where we will find Zizix and Leoponte.
Could you repeat that? You broke up a little bit. So sorry.
Okay. Frozen Far Expeditions, as Lysander has brought up, is the only store in town that has any mercantile goods outside of the inn. And Atnus Swift is standing by on his counter, getting things situated and making sure his shop's all tidy. What would you guys like to do?
Leon Ponte would. Could I suss out, see if there's any criminal contacts in this area? Some seedy people I may have a chummy relationship with?
Let's see. I think you are able to pinpoint one or two people. Let me see who's in town. Let's see. So Timmy the Tooth is in town.
Timmy the Tooth?
Timmy the
Yeah.
Tooth.
I would like to track down Timmy the Tooth.
All right. So instead of heading to Frozen Far Expeditions, is Zizix joining you on that expedition to go find Timmy the Tooth?
He is.
Okay. So you head down the market square and you hang a left that heads towards the shore near the area where the fishing boats are, and you see this tall elf that turns to you, and he has two long beaver-like teeth just overhanging and kind of pinching down on his bottom lip. He says, "Ah, Leoponte, it's nice to see you."
Oh, my friend, it is so good to see you as well. How have you been? First of all, how are you? Tell me your story. How have you been? Give me details.
Well, I've had a hard time being the communications lead for the last couple of outings that we went on, but old Eddie Sticky Fingers, he was up to no good again, so I bit him when I caught him doing bad, and now he put a hit on me, so I went out here and just kind of trying to lay low, but hopefully nothing comes of you finding me.
Oh, no, my friend. Nothing will come to you of me finding you. But I do have a favor to ask.
Oh yeah? What is that?
Leon Ponte would like to pull out those dark crystals, the metallic things that I found in the previous place.
Okay.
And I would like to show him one and ask if he knows of anyone who may be interested in purchasing something of these sorts.
Okay, well, Timmy the Tooth is gonna investigate these crystals to see if he knows what it is, if you would let him touch them.
I would let him touch one, yes.
Okay, so he's gonna reach down and he's gonna grab the crystal and he's gonna hold it up to what remnants of light are out tonight or today, and he's gonna bring it up close to his eye, and then he says, interesting. And then he says, I wonder. And he's going to open his mouth and he bites down on the crystal with his buck teeth. And he says, most peculiar, Leoponte. This looks like a gem, but it tastes like metal.
Zix is gonna pipe up and say, "Yeah, I know what that is."
Oh, do you, little one? Well, please, if you don't mind, share this information.
I'm sorry, give me a second, Sam. I love this character's voice. I gotta say. Yeah, that's Chardolin. Where did you find that?
Charlotte, huh?
No, Chardolin.
Charlotte.
No. Chardolin.
I would simply like to interrupt the circle that we are in, and he would like to simply answer Zizix's question by saying it's just something I picked up along the road, and I'm just looking to depart with.
Do you have more of that?
No. And I will roll deception.
Yeah, I'm rolling influence out of that sucker.
Yep.
So that would be an 8 or 12, sorry, for my deception.
And is mine inside or
Insight,
what is
yes.
that? That's 2.
Yeah, that's you're not able to pinpoint that he's telling a lie outright, so.
Then Leon Ponte would simply like to turn back to Timmy the Tooth and say, do you know of anyone interested in rare metals such as these?
Well, I would say that I can definitely think of someone. How much are you willing to take off my hands and trade for this?
What do you have to offer?
Well, I can leave you with 40 gold, and upon delivery, if you ever were to find me again, I can give you half of what I would sell it for.
Leon Ponte would like to offer 20 gold now for the information to sell it myself.
This is okay. This goes against our code, Ponte. You have a nice piece of chardlin here, but I'm never supposed to reveal my sources. You know, as I work as a fence.
Leon Ponte would like to lean in a little more intimately to Timmy the Tooth and say, my friends, were rules not meant to be broken? And without broken rules, where would you and I be right now, eh?
Go ahead and roll persuasion.
That would be a 9.
I thought better of you, Lepante. I thought we held ourselves to a higher standard than petty criminals.
And Leon Ponte is going to shrug and say, well, you can never truly trust a thief, no?
I thought you were different.
Well, now I'm starting to feel kind of bad. Leon Ponte will keep the Shuttling to himself and say, Timmy the Tooth, I do not believe we can do business today.
I understand, and I appreciate you taking this to me. This chardlin was very interesting.
Leon Ponte would simply like to shake his hand, and when doing so, like to slide him 5 gold. And during the handshake would like to say, I hope I can trust your discretion, no?
And I too with yours, Lepante.
You are a good man, Timmy the Tooth. Never change.
I try not to.
And with that, Leon Ponte would like to turn around and head back into the more central part of the town.
Okay, are you heading to the merchant? The Frozen Far Expeditions?
We will.
Okay. So at this time, who else was going to Frozen Far? That was going to be Andy and Lysander?
Yes.
I assume the whole party would be coming at this point?
Well, Andy would Andy know, since she stayed here a little bit, if it would be easier to get like beef jerky here at the tavern or out in the market?
Frozen Far Expeditions would be the place to go.
Then she's going.
Okay. So, oddly enough, you all arrive at the same time. The rest of the party going in first, and then Lysander and Zizix kind of trickling in behind. And the storekeeper eyes open up and says, good to see you back. I believe there is a new face amongst you. Atnus Swift, at your service. This is a human who looks to be older in age with some gray hairs dawning on his head, and looks to be a former adventurer by the looks of him.
And good morning to you, Atlas. How are you today?
Can't complain. I could, but I shouldn't.
Well, we all could.
Nothing gets done if we just sit around and complain all day.
I suppose not. Well, Alice, I was wondering if you had any new shipment of tents in store today.
No tents, unfortunately. You cleaned me out last time, and it seems to be a either rare or highly hoarded commodity.
That it would seem to be. We unfortunately lost one to a heavy wind not too long ago.
That's unfortunate. Did you use the stakes?
We hadn't got around to that yet. It came all of a sudden.
Start with the stakes.
Noted.
But if you're having trouble staying in one place, if you're just traveling the main roads, could I suggest a dog sled and a half dozen of dogs?
Half a dozen dogs?
Half dozen.
I don't know if that would be enough to pull our party, friend.
You're right, and well, we could always do is you could send someone out to go purchase more dogs from another town and take the 6 off my hands.
I will keep that in mind.
But for the time being, 6 is all I'm willing to part with.
I'll see what the rest of the group thinks. We got another question for you. You got any weapons available?
Yeah, I have some weapons. What are you looking for?
What have you got?
A variety. Is there something I can point your vision towards?
Perhaps a one-handed sword or a morning star?
A morning star. Quite peculiar. Quite peculiar. I might have something that's close. And he goes and he retrieves a war pick. And he says, this is a little sentimental for me here, but this is it's an old war pick I used to use. It takes some practice getting used to. If you don't know how to use it, you may not be very good with it. But it'll do the job.
A war pick, huh? May I handle it?
Sure. And he hands it over to you, and you see that it's similar to a to a mining pickaxe, only it's only single-sided. Kind of looks like a gardening hoe in that shape, just pointed like a mining pick.
Uh-huh. Maybe not quite what I'm looking for. I'll think about that. What else have you got?
Well, I certainly have one-handed swords. And he looks over towards the part of the store that has a little weapon rack, and you see a variety of long swords, short swords, and a couple of two-handed swords at the ready.
I'm gonna pull out my double-handed war club that I have and lie it on the counter. What would you trade for this?
Has it seen much battle?
Not lately. No.
He's gonna take a look at it, and I would be hard pressed to purchase this for any more than a gold in value for trade.
Would you be willing to trade a short sword for it, perhaps?
Something of this variety, I would need a little bit more than just a flat trade.
What have you got in mind?
I do not know your inventory, sir. I do not know which to ask. How about your hat?
That will be a hard no, friend.
Understandable.
It holds a priceless sentimental value to me.
Understood, it's a well-worn hat. But as far as the trade that we are speaking of, I would say I would need 20 gold to go on top of this trade for me to let go of one of my swords.
You drive a hard bargain, friend, but that's a little too steep for me.
It's understood. It's expensive for good protection these days.
It is. But I thank you for your time.
Now, is there anyone else I can help?
Andy will step up and say, I was wondering if you had any, like, salted meat that would keep a while.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And he pulls out a few stacks of rations, and he says, they go for 4 gold apiece. Each box will last you for a day.
4 gold apiece, huh? I think I'll wait for now.
You could always try your luck on the lake.
I do regularly. I'll do that today, thank you.
Anyone else?
I don't suppose you got any books, do you?
Oh, sure, I have books. What kind of books are you looking for?
Oh, nothing in particular, just need some good reading for the road, you know?
Well, let me give you this to ponder. And he goes over to his back shelf and he says, I've read this about 3 or 4 times already, but a new set of eyes would probably be very good for this book. And he pulls out this very worn red book that is titled Cormier in the City.
What's it about?
It's about the life of a peasant who is mistaken for a very renowned an enchanter, and he managed to bullshit his way up in his social circle, and well, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a while since I've read a nice, good work of fiction.
Oh no, it's quite true.
Even better. What are you looking for it?
For someone who would appreciate it, 2 gold.
I can absolutely do that, friend. Here you go.
And he gladly turns over the book in exchange for the 2 gold.
Right on. And what did you say that book was called?
Cormier, Inner City.
Andy is going to slide 1 gold over to VegaCon and say, if you'll let me read it when you're done.
You keep your gold, friend. I'll let you read it when I'm done.
All right, thank you.
There's 1 sale today. 2 sales today. Anything else for you, little one?
Do you have any vials?
Vials, yes. I have a couple of cases of vials. They go for 5 gold for 15.
Would you like to purchase a bag of holding by chance?
A bag of holding in these pots.
Yes, indeed.
It's quite interesting. Can I see it?
Yes, Zizix will pull it out and open it and show him. Reach his arm directly down into the bag and see that it disappears and.
Well,
it out.
that's no fair. Your arms are quite short. Let me try.
Yeah, he'll let him try.
And he sure enough puts his hand all the way through, and he's like, "Oh, wow, genuine." And he proceeds to turn it inside out. Bag's empty, right?
Yes.
And nothing comes out. It says, it's empty. It's a good trick to know if you come across another one, in case you weren't aware. You turn a bag of holding inside out. Its contents will flood the floors.
Good to know.
What are you,
Don't know. A little thing. Don't put another bag of holding into a bag of holding. Terrible things happen.
I dare not imagine what things would happen. I'm sure they are quite grim. A tear in the universe itself.
Yeah, something like that.
So, what is your price for this?
Well, because you don't see very many of these around here, I'm thinking at least 25 gold.
Done.
And the vials?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Good for me.
Just 1 case, or would you like 2?
Whatever you're willing to give in exchange.
And he's gonna take a look at the boxes of vials that he has, and he says, you can take them both. When the next shipment comes in, I should have restock coming anyway.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And he says, can I interest you in a dog sled and 6 dogs to carry these boxes? As it would be quite cumbersome to try to carry these through the wilderness.
Oh, it's okay. I think I can manage.
Alright. And he'll leave you to it, and he will enjoy his bag of holding.
For now. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Leon Ponte would like to hang back until the rest of the party has walked out of the shop. So whenever that happens, he would like to remain in it for a moment.
Andy is going to look around for like salt and seasonings, so that she can salt her own meat and like preserve the fish that she catches.
Yeah, you could find that easily enough.
And then she'll bring that to the counter and ask how much for these.
2 gold each. 4 gold total.
All right, done. And she'll give him 4 gold.
All right. Well, if there's anything else,
That'll be it, and she'll head out.
all right. Carcass, would you like to purchase anything?
No, my gold is mine.
Okay, fair enough.
I would like to go back up to him, rethinking on that war pick. How much do you want for the war pick, friend?
The war pick outright, I'd have to say at least 25 to 30.
What makes this war pick so special?
Well, it's not exactly a common weapon, and it's quite effective at what it does.
Can you tell me what it does?
It touches people's brains.
Well, friend, one could make the same argument right now. If you're hearing the words I say, am I not touching your brain?
Physically, no.
What else does it do?
You can fashion it to be able to grab things up off the ground and pick up litter if you would like.
Pick up litter for 25, 30 gold?
Well, it's the other use that is more valuable, of course. But I mean, I would not use this to mine for minerals of any sort, as it would lose its fine edge. Losing that edge on such a hard piece of rock would be a detriment to its effectiveness in the field.
Huh.
I'd say also another use of this is if you were very careful, you could use it to floss your teeth.
Seeing as how I don't have any teeth, that would be of no use to me in that regard.
Floss your friends' teeth, then. What are friends for?
What if I gave you my great club and 5 gold for it?
I could not go with that. Apologies.
Very well then. Then I tip my hat to him. Good day to you, sir. And I head out.
Likewise, be safe. Don't get lost. I've heard you had went missing.
He's gonna stop at the door, turn around to him slowly, and glare at him, and then walk out.
And Atnus, after Lysander leaves, he's gonna say, I'm glad he doesn't have eyebrows, or else I would have thought he was glaring at me.
Y'all squint the hell out of him.
Anyway. Anything else
So,
for you guys?
Leon Ponte would like to, if everyone has, once everyone's left, he would like to approach the counter, but not until then.
I think everybody was on their way out, right?
Yes.
I know.
Then Leon Ponte would like to approach the counter.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Leon Ponte is going to very quickly set one of the pieces of chatelaine down and say, what is this worth to you?
And he's going to take a look at it, and he says, this is chatelaine. It's a pretty nice sized crystal you have there. Do you have any more?
Leon Ponte will remain quiet for a moment and then repeat his question of what is this one worth to you?
Well, in such a small amount, for what it is, I could maybe fashion a small circlet or something of that nature. That to me I could sell for a decent sum of money. So I would say 50 gold.
Leon Ponte will say 75.
75 if you have more.
Leon Ponte will ask if he's interested in any form of trade.
He says, I'm always listening for trade.
Then Leon Ponte will say, dazzle me. Show me what you have.
And he looks around and he says, what is it that might catch your eye a little bit more than something else?
Perhaps a sword that maybe stands out around amongst the rest. Something to give me a bit of an advantage when I find myself in a pickle.
Ah, you must be talking about those +1 swords. I don't have any of those.
Leon Ponte will ponder for a moment and will accept the price of 50 gold.
And he will pull out the 50 gold and trade for the piece of Chardolin. And he says, it's been a pleasure.
Leon Ponte will kindly nod and then will exit the shop to catch up to his friends.
All right, and your friends are standing outside, not too far off, inside of the city. Which direction are you guys headed off to now?
Should we go back to our castle and let Lysander get one more night of rest there?
I think it would be wise for him to rest again. I, though, will be going fishing before bed. If anyone wants to join me, you're welcome to.
I, for one, would love to go fishing.
Then come along.
That I will.
All right.
All right.
All right. Billy, you beat me to it, even though I think I spoke over you.
Just barely. Just barely beat you to it.
Okay. Very good, very good. So headed south through the rest of the town, heading back to the road to head to Caer Dineval. Is that your current trajectory?
If that's where the fishing is.
Yeah, Caer Dineval is a lake city as well, so you'll have access to some fishing there.
Then yes.
And we got a whole castle there.
So, on the descent from Caer Koenig to Caer Dineval, you're met with pretty fair weather. It's a little bit snowy, but you've known and noticed in the recent days that weather can turn on a whim. Luckily for you, you have only a 2-hour journey, and there is a little over 2 hours worth of daylight left, so same marching order, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Leon Ponte would like to take.
You cut out there at the end?
Leon Ponte would like to take up the rear again.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll keep the lead.
Okay, go ahead and give me a survival check.
That would be a 19.
Okay, that's very good. Let's see what you encounter along the way. You actually do not encounter any spurred weather or any travelers along the way, and it's a fairly peaceful journey. It's very cold, so pleasant as pleasant can be, but you make it to Caer Dineval in a short amount of time.
Hell yeah.
So, as you enter the town from the north, you come around the basin that the castle is perched up upon, and past the upward climb, the tavern at the base of the hill, and you start ascending upward.
Andy will kind of clear her throat and say, "Did you say you have a castle?"
I mean, it's not like we own it or anything, but they kind of treat us like we do whenever we're there.
Oh, that's kind of them.
Yeah, it really is.
And as you make this climb up this hill, the doors are opened, and you are greeted by the guards there, and they welcome you inside. They ask, "Are you in need of anything?"
Andy shakes her head.
Not me personally at the moment.
Okay, very, very well. Well, you know where your rooms are. I see the sun has just begun to set. Dinner will be ready in about 2 hours.
Thank you kindly. We do have another friend with us now. Is there anywhere left that she could room up?
And he does take note of Andy when she had spoke up, and he says, I believe we have a spare bed we can put into one of the existing rooms, if that would be suffice for you."
I'm fine with anything, thank you.
We'll have someone get on that shortly. Kadroth, unfortunately, is on errand today, so you'll have to make any further requests through Thorg, as he has command over us today.
All right, that sounds fine. Thank you.
And as you finish this conversation, you see an albino tiefling with just a stare that is straight down to the ground, not looking around at anything, walking at a brisk pace towards the back of the Great Hall and towards the room that is underneath, or the room that is contained within the spire that rises.
I will lean into the guard that we were just talking to and motion over and say, "Who is that?"
That's Avarice. She is always quite busy.
I was actually hoping I'd get a chance to speak to Avarice at some point while we were here.
Well, now's as good a time as any.
All right, I will go try. And I'm going to walk up toward Avarice.
All right. And Avarice, seemingly hearing your footsteps, looks towards you and says, "I'm sorry, but can I help you?"
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bother you. I was just told that you might be a person of interest that I might find of interest to talk to. I was sad when I discovered the library here had been burned and was looking for any interesting books that were around, and was told you had the only real collection of books that remained in the castle, and that you might be an interesting person for me to talk to.
I see. Yes. And she takes a better look at you and says, "You don't have a medallion. How did you get in here?"
My name is VegaCon, and I was let in because of some of my actions in the past that pleased your group here.
My apologies. She quickly kind of shakes the cold stare that she was kind of giving you and says, "Of course, Kadroth had mentioned you. It is nice to meet you. I am Avarice. Unfortunately, you may have been a little misled, as most of my books are actually my spell tomes, so those aren't actually easy reading for most people."
Understood.
Is there a book that you're looking? And she says, "What book do you have?"
I already forgot the name of it.
And you pull out the red book that you had purchased just recently from Frozen Far Expeditions. She says, "No, not that one. There's another one in there. Keep looking." And you pull out Health Tips and How to Live a Healthy Life. And she says, "I am interested in this one."
Oh, really? Well, what is interesting about this book?
Well, I'm on a diet.
I'm gonna roll insight.
Go right ahead.
Six.
I mean, she doesn't seem like the skinniest person. If you were to, try to figure out, if she was being true about this, you couldn't make heads or tails of it.
That's the only reason this book interests you?
Yes, I would say so. I feel like all the fat consumed by this knucklehead trout is just, it's overwhelming me, and I need some sort of outlet on how to help supplement that, if you understand.
How did you know that I had this book?
We call it Tiefling Intuition.
Alright, I'd like to roll insight on that as well.
Okay.
That'd be a 14.
Yeah, this is more of the same, that you can't make heads or tails of whether she's lying or not, but you notice that her facial, what you're reading in her glares, not a glare, but her look, is that it's kind of shortly returned to that cold look that she was giving you at first. So definitely returning to her normal RBF, if you will.
Okay, well, I haven't finished reading this book yet, but maybe ask me about it again next time I'm here.
If you don't mind, if I could read it first, I would really appreciate it.
Well, I'd like to read it myself, and I'll let you borrow it when I'm done, okay?
That's not okay, and I'm not happy about it. So, if I can't make myself any more clearer, I would like to read that book before you. But if I need to talk to you, talk some sense into you, I certainly can. And if not, and as she whips her hand up, a bird ascends in from the window and lands perched on her hand. And this crow stares at you and gives a caw right at you. She says, I would definitely not want to have to escalate the situation.
All right, well, I'm sure that your crow friend here is very threatening to most people. But I've done nothing wrong here, and your empty threats are not scary to me. So if you would please back the fuck off and let me read my own book, I'll let you borrow it when I'm done. Okay?
And she's going to just look aghast at you, like, who is this person to talk down to me and speak slowly like he thinks I'm an idiot? Well, let me explain something to you. I was the top of my class and I studied hard to get into the Arcane Brotherhood, and there is nothing that you or other people can do to make me feel belittled by any of that. So let me get that perfectly clear to you. Now, on the second hand, this book is very important because my diet is in dire need of correction. So you should do the polite thing as her facial expression starts to rest and start to go into the more kind mode. And please excuse my temper, but I am very self-conscious about this.
I gotta roll insight again. Is this bitch really just freaking out about her diet? Or, like, there's gotta be something else to this book, right?
Well,
can I roll that again?
I'll give it to you this one last time, but if she beats you, or if you just can't tell, there's no more to be done with it.
Yeah, for sure. Jesus.
Third time lockout.
Alright, that one was a 22.
Okay. You notice that when she moved from her cold expression to her more kind-hearted, that it seems very forced and a little bit sounds a little unnatural in nature.
Okay. Look, lady, I'm sorry that you're self-conscious about your diet, alright? But we just met, and you're being very rude, and I'm not giving you my fucking book, alright? I was gonna let you borrow it when I was done with it. But now I don't even know if I'll do that unless you chill the fuck out. And maybe be polite to people that you're meeting for the first time. I don't know.
Like I said, I apologize. However, maybe some sort of middle ground can be met.
Tell you what, here's the middle ground that we're gonna meet. I'm gonna read this book. You're gonna chill the fuck out about this book. When I come back here next time, having read this book, I'll let you borrow this book.
And
That's
she
the middle ground we're gonna meet.
And she starts laughing to herself as she says, if you're going to finish it in a night, then that's fine. I'm very sorry to have this misunderstanding. My temper just gets away from me sometimes, and I apologize. I think we can be good friends. Just don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, okay?
Alright, don't talk to me like I'm someone that you can push around and tell what to do.
I'm sorry, but I'm stuck with these people for 24/7, so forgive me.
Alright. Here's to a more pleasant second meeting, and I will leave you with that.
I will look forward to it. And she resumes her pathing over to the spire, which you see that she descends down the hatch, and you hear it lock behind her.
Alright, if any of the party is still anywhere around,
It
I'm
would
just gonna turn to him and say, what the fuck was that about? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna try and read this fucking book before dinner.
Andy's gonna kind of laugh a little and say, I would if I were you. There are sometimes magical books that can boost your abilities.
Yeah, I feel like she wanted this for something other than dietary tips, so I'm gonna go see if I can figure out what that is.
Yeah, I would read that book.
That's what I'm gonna go do.
And Vega is off, and he heads to the bedroom.
What time is it getting to be?
Sundown, so you're thinking probably around 4 in the afternoon or so.
Is that still a good time to go fishing?
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, it's a perfectly good time to go fishing.
But Andy will head that way and kind of nod at Lysander if he still wants to come.
I was just about to ask.
All right. And what of the rest of you?
Leon Ponte would like to, first of all, make sure Carcass is comfortable and whatnot, but then he would like to ask Zizix if he would like to accompany him for a walk.
And Zizix is gonna say, well, let's go to my lab. We can talk there.
And before then, Leon Ponte would turn to Carcass and say, Carcass, do you want to go fishing with Lysander and Andy?
No, fish are not fun to kill. But they did say it would be a couple of hours before dinner, so I will go and wait for dinner to get served.
Okay, buddy. Well, if you get bored, I will be back in not too long, and we can talk or something if you would like.
Oh, okay. I am never bored.
Okay, good to know, buddy. And then Leon Ponte is going to walk away with Zizix.
Okay, and you guys are headed to the lab. So that should be everyone, as Eclipse is also retired to her room. Let's go ahead and go with Zizix and Leon Ponte in the lab.
So Sam, question, kind of above table kind of talk, is the shard crystal or the shardland crystal that Leon Ponte has, is that at least 100 gold in worth?
Who's to say?
Well, the DM is to say.
The DM is to say, yes, if he chooses.
If he chooses, okay.
And just to clarify, did you say it was, how many did I pick up when I found them?
3.
3. Okay, so I have 2 left. Got it. As soon as the door is shut, Leon Ponte would like to take one out and ask Zizix, how much is this worth to your scientific explorations?
So Zizix is, he's gonna say, do you mind if I take a look at it real quick?
Leon Ponte will kindly slide him the piece of sharpening.
Okay, and Zizix is gonna take out his monocle and really zoom that in, look it over.
Go ahead and make your investigation check.
That's a 19.
Yeah, it's a very interesting crystal. You haven't seen it in its raw form like this. This is definitely something that needs to be processed before it can be used for its metallic properties. But if you're looking for a value, you could place this in the range of anywhere from 99 gold to 150 gold for this small piece.
Interesting. So, if I am correct, I can use this to create something.
Leon Ponte will raise a very curious eyebrow. He will say, okay, so what are you willing to give me in return for your Soviet creation?
Well, I have some gold, if that's what you're after. I can also imbue some items of yours with some magic to make them better.
And Leon Ponte will take out his boomerang and will say, but you see, this one doesn't seem to be so magical anymore.
That was the first run.
So how do I know that on the second run, it will stay magic?
Well, I mean, I'm traveling with you all the time, so I can, if it runs out, I can always give it back.
Leon Ponte will ponder for a moment and then say, how much gold are you willing to share?
Well, I have... How about this? If you give me that shard, soon I will make you a potion that no one else has.
Well, nobody has a potion that makes them vomit ducks, but I don't want that, so you need to be a bit more specific.
Well, I mean, if you want to vomit ducks, I can try and do that.
No, my friend, you misunderstand.
I'm sure Congress would really appreciate that.
I need to know specifically what you will be giving me in the potion.
It's hard to say.
Then
magic isn't the perfect science.
Then I am going to need to know how much gold you are willing to spend, my friend.
How about this? I will give you 40 gold as a placeholder, and if the potion that I give you in the future doesn't suit your needs, you can keep the potion, you can keep the gold, and I will also imbue something of yours with magical properties.
Okay, so in your offer, if the thing that you are promising to make me is something I do not enjoy, I get to keep it, and then you temporarily give me a magical blessing on one of my weapons?
Well, I can change it out depending on what you need.
Leon Ponte will look at Zizix for a moment and say, I will give you your answer in the morning. And Leon Ponte will take his piece of chatelaine back and will exit his lab to go find Carcass and make sure he is still not bored.
Sweet. Okay, no problem. I'll be here if you change your mind.
Sweet. So, on that, Carcass, are you bored?
How long is it before dinner?
You've got an hour and 55 minutes.
Oh, yes, I'm very bored. I was wrong.
What would you like to do as you're still standing in the Great Hall?
Oh. I would like to use my great axe and try and dig into the floor.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength check on that.
That is a 20.
Yeah, you definitely start carving into this wooden floor. What are you carving? Just a line or anything in particular?
No, I will just randomly carve like a child does when they scribble on the paper.
Okay. And as you just start to do it and you get a good back and forth motion in, one of the guards comes up and says, hey, no, stop that. If you want to do that, you should go outside and do that.
Oh, does the outside have a floor?
Yes.
Okay, I will go outside and do this. You should really have activities available inside.
Well, what kind of activities would you like?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just very bored waiting for dinner. Your cooks take a long time.
Well, to be fair, we just recently had lunch, so he hasn't started cooking dinner just yet.
Oh, I could go down to the kitchen and get him to hurry.
No, that's quite alright. There is some floor outside that needs grinding.
Okay, show me where the floor is.
And he's gonna walk you outside, and he's gonna take you around the corner to where there's a little bit of a patch of ground that has been uncovered with snow, and he's gonna point down to it, and he says, "Here, this brown substance here is the floor outside."
Oh, okay. Then I will take my great axe and dig at this floor.
Okay, and you're going to be doing this for the next hour and 52 minutes. I assume?
Until someone comes to find me or they tell me dinner is ready.
Okay, very good. So, that brings us to onto the lake, which is not that. Where we have, let's do that. Where we have Lysander and Andy heading out to the docks to get ready to embark on the lake. So you guys head outside and you see the fishing area with the fishing boats kind of lined up, and Lysander, you're a little familiar with this lake, I believe. Let me double check on that, just because I know you asked that off the table, but I couldn't respond. So how would you guys like to procure a fishing boat?
Are there workers around the docks with presumably boats we could rent?
Yeah, there are definitely people over by the fishing docks, so.
Great, then Andy will approach them and say, good evening. Is there anyone available we might be able to rent a boat from?
Well, we're just all headed in, and me and my friend here brought back a few knucklehead trout, so we're done with it for the day. How long are you planning on using it?
Only about an hour and a half.
I'd say spot me a gold, and if there's no damage to it, we'll call it even.
Great. And she'll give them a gold.
Do you have any fishing tackle?
I have gear. Yeah.
Okay, very good. You're prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I, however, do not. But if I could spare gold for you to borrow it, we'll return it with the boat.
That's fine. That's fine. That'll work just fine for us.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. So if your friend can show you how to use the fishing tackle, then that might be best for you. Knucklehead can be kind of tricky.
Sure, I can do that.
Great. And he goes and he starts to head over to where he has tied off his boat, and he's going to unhinge it, and he'll say, "All right, it's ready for you to get in." And he says, "I'll go ahead and shove you off whenever you're all set."
Much obliged.
Anytime.
So I guess we'll hop on the boat and be on our way.
Okay. One moment. All right. So, as you guys are setting up and sailing out, you have oars on each side that you'll need to use to paddle out to get to the right parts of the lake. And you guys said you were going to spend an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
So, you guys get out to about the middle of the lake and you throw your baits in. You kind of show Lysander exactly what's going on. Go ahead and both of you individually make a survival check.
That's a 21, but it was not a natural 20.
Am I still at disadvantage on a survival check?
Yes, it is still an ability check.
That would be a 7.
And Andy, what did you get?
I got a 21, but it was not a natural 20.
Okay, very good. So, with that, you guys sit out for about 45 minutes or so. Kind of any idle conversation going on during this time?
Yeah, I'd be asking Andy her story.
She would sort of shrug and say, my family is, well, I guess you missed the introduction, but our mutual friend declared to the group that, you know, about my family, and they're paladins, all of my brothers and my father, and they're rather prolific warriors. I came out to sort of make my own name rather than, you know, be the youngest child and only daughter of the great 6 paladins in my family.
Wow. Those are indeed some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I'd rather make my own shoes. So I thought this would be a good path for me. I mean, I love them, I do. I just wanted to be my own person.
Understood.
What about you?
Oh boy. My story. Well, it is a very long one, but to give you the cliff notes, I didn't always used to look like this.
What was it you used to look like?
I used to be human. My father used to be a marshal of the town that I grew up in. He was a monster hunter. He kept the town safe from the things that lurk in the woods and the mountains, and he took me under his wing whenever I came of age. He was a good man, my father. Loved him very much. He died one night. We were after this gargoyle that had been stealing livestock and had kidnapped a child, and well, then he takes off his hat and he looks down at it. He's like, this is one of the few things that I have left of him.
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I try to honor his memory by continuing his work. One night I was investigating this cult that was trying to summon some hellish god, and well, let's just say I disrupted his ceremony, and he didn't take too kindly to that. He cast a curse upon me, saying that when my flesh was done and rotted away by the next blood moon, that my soul would be his to enslave. So I did what I could and made a body out of metal and transferred my life force into it.
Well, your soul's the most important part. It's good that you preserved it.
It's been an adjustment.
I can't imagine.
And on that note, I would like Andy to currently make a strength check.
Alright, that's a natural 19 plus 2, so 21.
You get a huge hit on your rod, just, and it pulls it down. It nearly catches you out from conversation, but you're able to pull it back. And you're fighting this fish. You're pulling it back, but it pulls back just as hard, and you let it go to run out and try to tire itself out. You seem to be at an exact stalemate, so I'm going to need to make another strength check.
That's an 11.
Can I help her as best as I can? However we would roll that.
I'm trying to think here. I think. How do you think you would try to help her? Try to persuade me into giving you this.
Well, if she's trying to pull it back, then I would assist her the best that I can and try to pull it back too.
Okay. So with that, I will let you give her a 1d4 roll to try to add to hers.
Are you rolling it, Nick, or me?
Yeah, actually, Sam.
Nick, this is going to be the quality of help that you're providing.
That'll be 1.
So with
That makes it a 12.
with Lysander pulling back on the rod when you're trying to reel it in, you feel his pull, and you feel the fish start to pull back and pull more fervorously, and then you decide you need to let it run again, but this time the fish runs underneath the boat and it snaps your line.
Ah, well, nature of the beast. And she starts to work on replacing the line.
What happens?
All right.
Big one got away. Damn.
Yeah, it definitely, from your point of view, both of your points of view, it looked like a pretty big knucklehead trout to be pulling that hard. For this next part of the hour, I would like you both to make new survival checks.
Mine is a 16.
13.
13. Another 30 minutes goes by, and Andy has another bite on her hook. I need you to make a strength check.
That's a 12.
This one is not putting up much of a fight, and you're able to reel it in, and you have a 3-pound knucklehead trout.
Sweet.
Good catch.
Thanks.
And that is about an hour and a half of the time that you've spent out on the water.
We should probably get back for dinner.
So, been fun fishing with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And Andy, would you like to roll a D100 for me? While she's doing that, we will go ahead and go back into the Cara Dinaval castle, where Leah Ponte returns to the throne room to find Carcass is not there.
Leon Ponte will approach the nearest guard or cook anyone in the general area.
There is a guard standing by, and he says, Leah Ponte, is there anything we can do for you tonight?
Yes, and first of all, thank you so much for pronouncing my name correctly. Have you seen Carcass, the big guy with the horns?
Oh, yes, I put him to work outside.
I'm sorry, you put him to work?
Well, and he kind of points down at the floor, and you see where this huge indent and scrape in the floor has been made. He said he had been digging into the floor out of sheer boredom, so I had him dig into the floor outside where we're going to be placing our new garden.
Thank you very much. Leon Ponte is going to head outside to find his best friend, who is apparently digging a garden.
All right, and you head outside, and right around the corner to the right, you find Carcass going at the ground with his great axe, going into a straight line.
Carcass, are you enjoying what you are doing?
Oh, hello, Pointy. No, but I liked it better inside where it was warmer.
Carcass, would you like to go back inside with me and maybe play a game of cards?
Yes, I would like to do that, but I do not know how to play cards.
Oh, it is so simple. I will teach you. Come on. And Leon Ponte will extend a hand for Carcass and lead him back inside.
I will go with him.
And you do just that. There is a set of tables and chairs off to the back of the great hall that you're able to utilize for playing cards in the open, if that's what you'd prefer.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. And Leon Ponte will take out his deck of cards and do his best to teach Carcass how to play Three Dragon Ante.
What does that sound like?
It's like you ante up some dragons and there's 3 of them. It's like...
I do not have dragons.
It's everything I've researched. It's like blackjack in D&D, kind of.
Okay, very good. So you take this time to go ahead and try to show Carcass how to play. Let's go ahead and give Carcass an intelligence check.
That is a 5.
He doesn't get it.
Leon Ponte simply doesn't care and is just going to keep telling him he's doing a good job and let him place down any cards he would like.
And with that, I believe is where we're going to take our break for the night. All right, and we are back with part 2 of tonight's session. Everyone is back from their break, and so we're going to pick up where we left off with the party coming back in from fishing in some cases, playing cards in the main hall, and doing who knows what in some secret laboratory that is upstairs and protected with some sort of runic trap that nobody knows about. So, from here, we're going to go ahead and say that dinner is called. And throughout the building, you can hear it being called down. Andy and Lysander have come back from their fishing adventure.
Would you like me to tell you my D100 roll? We left off on that.
Yes, go ahead.
It's a 19.
Okay, noted. And we'll go ahead and pick up with dinner being called.
Quick question. How much of my book was I able to get through before dinner was called?
You're able to read it for about 1.5 hours. How fast are you spending time on each page is the question.
I'd probably try and kind of almost speed read through the whole thing. And then if I don't notice anything, I'd go back and spend more time reading the whole thing.
Okay, so through the speed reading, you probably would have got that done within an hour and a half.
Okay. And
But
did
I don't think you would notice anything. You wouldn't have like glowy bits showing up around you or anything like that. So
after speed reading it, it just seemed like an actual diet tip book.
yeah, it definitely hammered down the importance of whole grains and heirloom foods, not eating, magically inclined stuff to make it taste better, because that's apparently a faux pas in some extremist food groups within the Sword Coast.
So no MSGs here.
No magically certified grains or magically sugared grains.
There you go.
I was like, a certified with an S?
Yeah, my bad.
That was good. I was proud of that. Well played.
So yeah, you read through the book within that time, and you didn't notice anything. But I mean, would you really expect to, I don't know, feel something?
I'm not sure what to expect, but she obviously thinks there's something important about this book other than diet tips.
There is a
curious
dress that she has that she just does not fit into, and she needs it now.
Okay, I'm sure that's what it is.
You bet.
I'm gonna spend more time with it after dinner.
All right. So, with that, dinner is called and everyone is congregating towards the dining hall where Kadroth is absent at this time. What would you guys like to do as you're sitting at the table?
Watch everybody eat.
Alright, creep. Can we smoke in here?
Yeah.
Leon Ponte would like to break out his pipe and await his food, but smoke on his pipe a little bit.
Yeah, easy enough. Food is brought out, and you're met with what looks like mashed potatoes, and then you're also getting what looks like carved up turkey.
What? but knucklehead trout.
In a surprising move, this Caradinaval has came into what they would call a hero's feast, and have provided such. And you have a scroll of hero's feast. So now you have turkey, you have candied yams, you have rolls, you have all the stuffing and cranberry sauce, and it looks like you've just got a huge meal sitting in front of you for all to share.
Never mind, I will be partaking.
Oh my God! Thanksgiving D&D with a hero's feast. That's so beautiful, Sam.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking look up at them while they're bringing it out and be like, why are you doing all of this for us? This looks amazing.
Well, quite frankly, the chef was a little exhausted and requested the day off, and he had this somehow, so we went ahead and used it.
Well, this looks incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Leon Ponte would very quickly like to grab a turkey leg before Carcass makes his way to the turkey.
Andy will do the same, taking a cue from Leon Ponte.
Yeah, and quickly enough, you guys are able to grab both turkey legs. And how does Carcass feel about that?
That is okay because I will pick up the entire rest of the turkey and put it on my plate.
Some of the guards kind of come over with their plates, and they're kind of looking at you, Carcass, and they're saying, we haven't gotten any turkey yet. Will you share?
Oh, that is a shame. I am very sorry, and then I will just start eating right off of the bones.
And the guards look a little dejected, and
Andy will give them her turkey leg.
oh, that's quite nice of you. Thank you.
And Leon Ponte will give them a kind look and then start eating his own turkey leg.
And they nod at you, and they go ahead and they split the turkey leg between the two of them, and then they go to reach for the cranberry sauce and slather it on top of the turkey. I think that's what you're supposed to do. I don't mix the two. Personally, never have. So, but in any case, they go down and they get their mashed potatoes. They get all their stuffing and all their good stuff, and they head out to a different table and start eating over there to the side. One guard comes up and nudges Andy and Lysander and says, I heard you guys went fishing. You have any luck?
Andy said, yeah, we got a 3-pound trout. Do you want it?
Oh no, that's yours. It's your catch.
I'm happy to share. I mainly fish for pleasure.
Well, if you do not want to take it with you, I'm sure if you left it in the kitchen for the chef, he would be happy to see it.
Sure. I'll clean it and then do that.
Okay. How about you, Tin Man?
I didn't have much luck. The big one got away.
They always do. They always do.
Goes.
And that same guard is going to look at Zizix and say, do you need help reaching anything on the center of the table?
Little arms. I'll take some stuffing if you can.
And he's going to go ahead and give you a couple scoops of stuffing.
Yeah, Andy's just gonna fix herself up with vegetarian food.
Did you say something, Zizix?
Oh, he was just saying thank you to the help for the help.
Okay.
Go
Go ahead.
Would Zizix or anyone else notice the big hole in the floor?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Zizix is gonna go over to that floor or to that hole and say, guys, what happened here?"
I have no idea.
Beats the shit out of me.
Leon Ponte with a mouthful of turkey is just gonna be like, "Well, you can call it like my mouth, you know."
Huh?
Then Leon Ponte will shove some stuffing in his mouth and say, "What is it when you're gonna get and we'll get upside down?"
Hey, you might want to swallow before you talk so he can actually understand you, because he's just gonna keep asking what you said.
Then Leon Ponte will put some mashed potatoes on top of this disaster in his mouth and be like, "Oh, good idea too, and you think it was that way as well."
Okay.
Okay.
And then Zizix is gonna cast Mending on the floor to fix it.
Yeah, and you do that easily enough as it's a cantrip. So you go over and you start to cast Mending on it, and you see that the pieces of wood that had splintered start reforming down onto the floor and returning to its normal surface area.
There, good as new.
Oh, well, that saves about 50 gold's worth of carpentry. Thank you very much, Zizix.
Not a problem. You know, I do what I can. And he will make his way back to his seat and continue to eat stuffing.
Fantastic. Everyone's gonna eat their fill, I'm assuming, and just stuff their faces full of this Thanksgiving, Heroes Feast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm eating like a madman. Yeah.
This is the first time you've
sure,
seen.
you betcha.
This is the first time you've seen any meal that isn't knucklehead trout or vegan. So I'm sure you guys would be pretty excited to see something like this. And as you guys had finished off all the food that's left and Carcass has devoured the whole turkey, the chef makes his appearance. And he says, I'm glad you are all enjoying this.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I didn't put any work in this, but I have put some work in this. And he brings out 3 large pies.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I'll reach up and grab one and put down in front of me.
Excuse me, but that's to share. Do you know how to count? There's 3 pies, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you.
Oh, okay, and I will put my hand into the pie and pull out a little hunk and kind of toss it toward the middle of the table, and then I will put my face right down in the rest of the pie.
And the chef's gonna look around to the party to see what their initial reaction is to this.
Leon Ponte is going to very quickly grab the hunk of pie in the middle of the table and put it on his plate.
Andy is just gonna sigh and look at the chef and say, "I wouldn't bother, but thank you." And she'll help him cut the rest of the pies to share among everyone.
All right, easy enough. As you're skilled with the blade, I'm sure, to be able to cut pies into fractions. And these are very delicious pies. He really put work into them. And he says, I hope you guys enjoy. I have another in case there is no more and you guys want to eat your fill. Please go right ahead.
Thank you very much. That's really kind of you.
Yes, thank you. This is all delicious and fantastic.
And
Yes.
Go
Very
ahead.
good. You can bring the other one out now.
Andy kind of shakes her head at him.
shakes her head no.
Yeah.
Okay. So the guard is looking at you for sure. He's not going to be taking orders from Carcass, as he had his fair share of pie, and he says, "Please enjoy," and he is off. So, with that being said, and you guys partaking in this feast, everyone gets 5 temporary hit points.
Woo.
Yeah, big woo, big woo. So what would you guys like to do at this point?
Well, our plan is still to stay the night here, yes?
Yes, I think that would be wise.
All right, then I'm going back to my book.
All right. What of the rest of you?
I think Andy will go clean that fish very thoroughly, and then she'll leave it, like she said, for the chef.
Okay, go ahead and quickly give me a survival check for that.
Natural 20.
Oh, you do this like you've done it a few times, which you obviously have, and you fillet that knucklehead trout just so pristinely that you leave no meat on the bone, and it's a really textbook fillet. And you lay it down and in the kitchen and lay it out. You don't really need to put it somewhere cool. It's all cold around here, so just away from the stove. What of Lysander or Leoponte?
If Zizix is done eating, I would like to talk with him in his lab.
And Leon Ponte is simply going to find a pleasant place outside to continue smoking his pipe after the hero's feast that he has just enjoyed.
Okay. Zizix, when you wrap up, Lysander would like to talk to you in the lab, so is that where you guys are headed?
Yeah, so Zizix will say, yeah, come with me, my friend.
Will do.
And you open the door to Zizix's ontical zone and enter.
How have you fared these last couple days, friend?
I'm sorry, could you... So, sorry, guys, I gotta interrupt. My wife just told me that she felt our baby for the first time kicking, so...
Oh, yay!
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, so a little excited of you. So, sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay.
What'd you say, Nick?
You want to take a minute, man? Like we can wait, do something else real quick.
We're good. We're good. We had the moment. So.
Okay, good. I wouldn't want to interrupt that. Anyway, I asked you, how did you fare these last couple days in my absence?
You know what? Surprisingly well.
Well, you guys found me in pretty short order.
Well, I mean, I knew you were gone, and I hadn't heard from you, so I knew, if you weren't back, something was wrong. So.
You had that right.
I mean, I know you have my Zinkles, but they can only go so far.
Yeah, rest assured, I will not be doing that again.
Yeah, let me get you tricked out a little bit more before you do something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Funny enough.
Okay. What did you have in mind?
Well, I might be in the market to have another one of these nice arm weapons for my other arm.
Well,
When I can procure myself another weapon to put on and graft onto.
well, I may have to take a look at what I have. Here's what I can do. If you can persuade Laponte to give me something he has that I could use for something really glorious, I will fixate a new arm blade on you.
What kind of a blade are we talking?
Well, one that kind of just attaches to your arm, and you will never drop it. It just stays on your arm, so can retract, can extend. Kind of nice,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be your sickle, which I know you're kind of fond of, but we can get you something else that's pretty close.
I'm certainly interested. But until we can procure a few items to get that project underway, there was another thing. These dwarves that kidnapped me, they seem to be really interested in this Chardolin that I'm made of.
Well, I mean, of course, like, that stuff is really rare around here.
So I've gathered.
So, I mean, you gotta be really careful around those guys.
What else can you tell me about it? Do you know where it's from?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. It's not exactly in one particular area. It's just very, very hard to find. And the conditions have to be just right to make it. Especially in this area where it's really cold, it just doesn't really form around here.
How does it form exactly? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, are you familiar with an opal?
I know what an opal is. Yes.
Well, it just has to have the right conditions of, thermal dynamics and different kind of air pressures. Make sure that it heats and cools at the right time. Very, very specific conditions. And it's just so hard to create that in this area, especially with how long this blizzard's been on.
I see. So what is this item you wish to procure from Leoponte?
Well, it's a gem, and then I'm gonna be able to use it for something that is going to just really help the party out. But he's just a guy that, I mean, he's all about the coin, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone, has a thing that they lack. But I just don't have enough coin for what he's willing to part with that.
What kind of gem exactly is this? Did you talk to him about it, I suppose?
Yeah, it's kind of a rare thing. It may or may not be Chardolin in its raw form. So nothing like what you're made out of, but think of the beginnings of what you're made out of.
I see. So what do you hope to do with this gem that would benefit the party?
Well, make something like you.
You want to make something like me?
Well, in a roundabout way, it's not going to be you. It's not going to be your twin. It's just something that's made in the same way.
Uh-huh. There ain't no other me but me, baby.
No, I mean, it's not gonna be you. It's just my way of seeing if I can make you.
Can I jump
It'll
in
really
here?
You want to test your metal, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see, I've studied you. I feel like I know how you work. And this will just help me see if, if the day comes and you need to be fixed, this will just help me understand how to do that.
Very good, then. We'll see what we can do.
Alright, I'm going to jump in here really quick. I really regret not making a twin for Nick in D&D since he has a twin in real life.
I mean, I could make like a 2-foot version of him.
That would be funny.
Name that one Drew as well.
Drew 2.0.
Anyway. Alright. That was good. That was very productive. What else do we have going on? Vega went up to his room. Andy went to clean the fish. Leoponte went to go smoke his pipe. That leaves none other but Carcass in the dining room.
Yes, I am in the dining room just trying to find scraps that everybody left on their plates so that I can eat the rest of their food.
And through the corner of your eye, you see like a group of kitchen workers just kind of peering around the corner as they are getting ready to come clean up the food, but they're kind of hesitant to come and try to take any of this scrap from you. But one gets the gumption to approach, and he heads over to the mashed potatoes where it's the tray that it's in is there's some food left in there, but he goes to grab it and pick it up off the table very, very cautiously.
Oh, where are you taking that?
We were going to go clean it up.
Well, I am not done with dinner yet. I am very big.
That you are, but surely there's some end to which that pit fills that is your stomach.
Yes, once I eat all the food, then I will not have to eat anymore today.
You know, there's a book upstairs that I had seen recently about dietary tips. Would you like to take a look at it?
Yes, you would like to read it to me?
Oh, can you not read?
I will look at the ground with a very sad look on my face. Says, that is very mean.
I did not mean to offend you. I just was unaware that you were unable to do that. I'd be happy to read the book if you could find it.
Oh, I don't know where books are.
Well, maybe one of your friends might know. But there is a library upstairs.
Oh, okay. Will you take me to this library?
Sure. And she's gonna walk you up to the library up here. And she's going to say, now, a lot of these books are damaged and destroyed, but if you see one that looks interesting to you, I could definitely read it.
I will sift through the books to see if there is anything that looks nice.
Define nice for Carcass.
Not completely burnt, just mostly burnt, but if the cover still has bright colors, that would be nice.
Okay, yeah, you definitely find one that is lime green in color, and it doesn't look to be burned too much.
Oh, I like this green book. Here, and I will shove it into his face very hard. Say, read this, little man.
And I am a woman, but that is okay. I take no offense. Okay. Is this something that would interest you?
Yes, it is a nice green color.
I see. I guess you want me to start now?
I would like you to read this whole book to me.
And she begins to read the book of Rogues Are Very Shady. And she reads it slowly and in detail to Carcass, as he's just had his fill on food. And do you think he starts to nod off and fall asleep?
Yes, I will not pay any attention to what she is reading. I will just kind of look around at the other books until I get sleepy from all the food.
Okay, fair enough. So, with all of you out doing your activities, soon night starts to get twilight, and you know that it's pretty close to the end of the day. Is there anything else that you guys would have liked to have done before getting to that point?
Andy would like to ask which room, or whose room her extra bed was placed in, so she knows where to go.
Totally her choice.
Oh, well, she's not sure.
I can roll for it.
Yeah, just roll for it, and she'll go wherever.
You're in there with Carcass and Lea Ponte.
Okay, she's just gonna go sack out in the bed then. She doesn't, she puts everything under her bed very neat and tidy.
Okay. Anything else you guys would like to do before the end of the day?
Leon Ponte would simply like to finish what is in his pipe. Go inside, check in with Carcass, make sure he is eating and that he is happy, and then Leon Ponte would also like to head up to bed and get a good night's rest.
So on your way upstairs, you catch Carcass in the library being read to, and the exact line that is read is, rogues deal in lies and deceit quite oftenly, and they are never to be trusted.
Leon Ponte, as he passes by, is just going to give a quick, and then head up to bed.
All right. Zezix and Lysander, after you guys had that conversation in Zezix's zontical zone, what would you guys like to do?
I'm going to go to my room and write my journal and fall into my sentry's rest.
Zezix?
He's just gonna stay in his lab and keep tinkering with things.
All right. Vega? Just reading?
Yeah, I'll just be trying to take my time with that book and figure out anything I can about why it's so important to this bitch.
All right. Anybody else? I think that was everybody. Yeah. All right. So you guys get a nice long rest for some. Zezix, not so much. Carcass, you fall asleep and you wake up alone in the library. The person reading you the book had left.
When I wake up, I will yell, Pointy! Pointy! Where are you, my friend?
do I? Does this awaken me? Do I hear this?
Yes, you would hear this.
And what time is it roughly when this is happening?
The sun's not up yet.
Andy's gonna open one eye and say, "Is he screaming for you?"
Leon Ponte will say, yes, I believe he's usually screaming for me. And Leon Ponte will stretch and embrace the gift that is an early morning and will go find Carcass.
Alright, and easily enough, you are able to locate his voice in the library as you pass by it to go downstairs. You find him screaming in the library.
Hey, my friend, you are screaming for me?
Yes, I woke up in this strange room. I'm not sure how I got here.
You got here because this is where you were when you fell asleep, no?
Oh, okay. I do not remember. But if you say so, my friend.
And Leon Ponte would like to invite Carcass to go and sit outside with him and enjoy the sunrise before breakfast.
Oh, yes, I like when the sun comes up.
Alright. And being awoken by Carcass screaming, Vega, Lysander, and Zezix, what would you like to do as you're awoken by that commotion? Actually, Zezix isn't there. He's in his lab.
Yeah, Zizix is in the lab. He's also going to be casting Unseen Servant as a ritual to help him tinker with things.
Okay, yeah. So Vega and Lysander.
I'm gonna step out and go to the source of that. Ask, what was that?
And when you step out of your room, you are able to catch a glance of Leah Ponte and Carcass heading downstairs and then out the door.
Huh. I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Okay. Vega?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get up if I hear Carcass yelling for Pointy. I'm gonna do a face trunk in my bed.
Yep.
And then roll over and try and go back to sleep.
Andy's probably just gonna be up at that point. So she's going to get herself ready for the day and probably go find a spot to, like, I don't know, practice with her warhammer or something.
Yeah, there's definitely a spot where you could set up and take form outside and practice your swings and the like. Nearby would be Carcass and Leah Ponte watching the sunrise. Alright. So, breakfast is served. It's a very light breakfast this morning. The weather outside looks very daunting today. It looks like if there's not a storm coming right now, there will be.
If breakfast is being served, then Leon Ponte would probably head inside for some food and invite Carcass to sit with him.
Andy will probably follow if she hears they've prepared breakfast.
Yep.
Well,
Easy enough.
Carcass will definitely go eat breakfast.
Yep, very simple snack. You guys sit down and take your meal, and you're ready for the day. So, what would you like to do?
That's a good question. Well, seeing as how looks like we got a storm coming in. I say that we stay in and see what happens, wait for that to blow over.
Do you have a plan for after that?
Not particularly. I turn to the rest of the party. What else is there to do at this moment? I have a few things that I could follow up on my investigations, but what can we all do together?
Yeah, Leon Ponte would chime in that perhaps we could find our way to a task or a journey that could lead to a bit more profit.
I would be game for that.
Okay, I might have something. Hold on. And Vega's gonna pull out his notes.
All right. And Vega starts to reach into his pack and pulls out his little journal that he's been keeping.
Thank you for buying me time to find this in my actual notes. In Bryn Shander, Markham had talked to me about a job to find information about a lost caravan. And he said if we found the information he was seeking, it would pay 50 gold pieces, and we could get some of the supplies from the caravan that we're able to salvage.
What kind of
That
goods
sounds like
is this?
something.
Yeah, what kind of goods does this caravan hold?
Mostly it sounded like regular adventuring supplies, rations, and the like, but he did say there might be some gemstones on there as well.
Well, rations were going for 4 gold, so those are pretty profitable too.
Yeah. He didn't have a whole lot of information about it except that there were bear tracks found at the scene, and he doesn't know if maybe a bear got the caravan, then someone else came and ransacked it, or what. He didn't have a whole lot of details, but we could go back to Bryn Shander and talk to him about that and find a place to start.
Sure.
Yes, I like the idea of at least going back to Bryn Shander, and if this job is still something we can assist with, then yes, but if no, then Bryn Shander has many opportunities, I do believe. So yes, I do believe we should go there.
And how many days, how long of a travel is that from here? I keep forgetting this region.
It is roughly 9 hours travel.
Well, if that's the case, I'd say the earlier we can set off, the better.
Leon Ponte would like to add that there is a storm that appears to be coming. Perhaps we should try to find out how soon that would be here, because it would suck to be stuck in another one of those.
That is true.
Yeah, I would say we might wait till tomorrow morning.
That might be the best call.
Okay. So you spend your days, looking through the book, Vega, and rereading it. You still don't feel anything. I would say you've probably put in at least, 7 hours of reading at this point with the first hour and a half? I don't know how late you stayed up.
Pretty late, but not super late. Not Zizek's late.
So probably would have been about 7 hours of reading.
Sure.
Zizek, I don't think, slept.
So, if someone was to come into the lab, they would see Zizix passed out on the floor, and his the unseen servant is doing his bidding for him.
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't realize he was not at the table. Yeah, I'm gonna go up and get him.
Yeah, so you enter the room and you see some things floating around meticulously with Zizix asleep on the floor.
Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna go and shake him awake and keep an eye on all the floating objects.
What's going on?
Hey, it's just me. What's going on here?
Oh, I just...
What are all these things standing around?
Oh, I just fell asleep. Did you procure that item I asked you to get?
No, I haven't got a chance to yet. What is going on in here? Gesturing to all the floating objects moving around.
Oh yes, it's just my servant that helps me with things.
He cocks his head at him. You have a servant.
Well, I mean, yes. From time to time, it's just a spell that helps me, be more efficient.
Sounds very handy.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, it lets me sleep and work at the same time.
So that is very handy indeed. Well, how about we get you some proper rest and a bed, huh?
Oh, I still have so much work to do. Especially if you get that item from Leoponte, and then I gotta work on your arm blade too. So there's just a lot to still do.
Well, I'd say that I'm looking around at everything still kind of in awe at what is happening. Looks like your servant has that covered, friend.
Well, yes, but unfortunately, it's kind of tethered to me. So if I leave, it leaves too. So I have to kind of stay here.
Can I bring you a bed?
I mean, I'm comfortable on the floor. I spent a lot of nights on a cold floor. But I mean, I appreciate it.
Of course. If you're comfortable, friend. We're all downstairs having breakfast. If you would like to come and have something to eat. We're trying to figure out our next move.
I'm sorry, Nick. Can you say that again?
I said, well, everybody's downstairs at breakfast. If you'd like to come down and have something to eat, we're discussing our next move.
Well, like I said, I can't really leave the room and still, work on things. So if you could have someone bring me food, that would be great.
I'll be happy to come get you something. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna go downstairs and take his plate back up to him.
Okay, and while that's going on, we would be in the dining room where making her appearance for the second time this session is Avarice, and she strolls up to Vega and she asks, "Did you learn anything from the book?"
Oh, still learning, but so far I think I'm on track to leading a much healthier life.
So tell me, what is most important in that book that stands out to you? Because I just really need tidbits of information to try to start my day on the right path. And she looks over at the breakfast table and says, "And I just don't know what to choose. If only I could maybe have some guidance from this book, just for a little while, perhaps for the day."
Can I roll an insight on her?
Sure.
Thank you.
That's a natural 20.
What's your modifier?
It is +6, so 26.
Okay. You definitely think that she is not letting everything out. There's something more to it.
Then at that point, Andy's going to pipe up and say, "There's more to this book than you're letting on, and that's why you want to read it first."
Well, I obviously haven't been reading it first. He's been reading it first.
Yes, but that's not what I said. It's why you want to read it first. There's more to this book, and you know what it is. So you're trying to con my friend out of his find to use it for yourself, yes?
It's but information, and whoever's information it goes to first needs not matter. I would just like to make the changes sooner rather than later. And how much weight can an elephant lose?
I'm going to cast Detect Magic on... Well, no, I don't have that spell. I thought I had it prepared. Can I do an Arcana check on the book?
Sure, you can certainly try.
Vega, may I look at your book? Just to check it for magic?
By all means.
So she'll do an Arcana check then. That's a 17.
To your eyes, it really just looks like a health tips book.
You don't happen to have the Detect Magic spell, do you, Vega?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
In the meantime, she's just gonna kind of study the cover and then glance up to Avarice periodically with slightly narrowed eyes and say, I know there's something to this. And she's gonna keep looking at the book.
I actually do have that prepared.
Great. Then Andy will set the book in front of him.
Yeah, if you would like to take 10 minutes to cast it as a ritual, you certainly can.
Yeah, but I'm gonna excuse myself and go to the room to do that, so I'm not casting a ritual out in the middle of the breakfast table.
Avarice would like to come with you just to verify your claim.
In that case, Andy would like to come too, because now she has an eye for this lady.
That's fine, if you both want to join me.
Okay. And she will do just that and join you into the seclusion of the room as you start to cast your detect magic as a ritual.
Andy's gonna stand there like a bodyguard, keeping both eyes on Avarice.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
That is an...
Okay. So the time goes by and you cast your ritual and you finish, and at this time you would see the magic appear, but there's no magic to be seen.
Alright, well, the book itself is not magic. But, and after I say but, I'm going to look straight at Avarice. There is obviously something else about this book that has piqued your interest other than health tips.
Listen, you can try to be nice and just tell me that I don't need it, and I appreciate that, but if you want to take your time with the book, I gave you a full night, and I thought I would be able to take it off your hands the next day.
It's his book. He can have as many nights as he likes. And then Andy's going to look to Vega and say, I think maybe we should talk to, who was it that is in command here at the moment? Maybe they would properly identify it.
Kadroth would have nothing to do with anything that I am interested in. Trust me.
Well, Kadroth is away, isn't he? Wasn't it like Thorg or something that's in command in his stead?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Would you like to bring Thorg into this?
Yeah. I don't even think I've met Thorg.
And she says, "Oh, you can't miss him. Thorg!" And this big bumbling guy comes in. He says, "Thorg here. What can I help you with?"
Andy will say, "Hello, Thorg. Do you happen to know of another wizard or sorcerer that might have an identify spell?"
This one, and points to Avarice.
Is there another?
Only wizard I know.
Thank you.
What seems to be issue?
Oh, we're just trying to determine,
And she's
what
gonna cut you
exactly-
off right there. And she's gonna say, "This man, our guest, has a book that he will not let me borrow, but I've been very fair and I let him have it for the first night in coordination with his discussion with me yesterday, that I would be able to read it after he read it. Now, Vega, have you read the book?
He is not yet finished with it.
Let
and it
him
belongs to
speak.
him.
She was fine with speaking for me because she was answering correctly. I have not finished reading the book. And
Okay.
frankly, you being obsessed with it as much as you are when it's my book and you getting mad that I won't loan you my book is getting pretty frustrating.
Thorg, have you, I don't know, you want to take a look at the book and confirm that there's nothing wrong with the book? There's nothing weird about it? Oh, yes, I'll take a look. Hey, I've seen this book before. It's from our library.
Well, if you have a copy of it in your library too, then why does it even matter if you have my copy?
No, and he points at the scuffing burn marks that are on the edges of the books. This one was in our library. You can see where it was damaged by the fire.
Because fires are exclusive to your library.
Well, we can look in the library, I guess, and see if it's still there. Ah, Thorg, I think that is a splendid idea if that is the case.
It could have been burned away if it were in your library.
Oh no, there hasn't been fire since I seen it.
By all means.
Alright. And you guys are going to go to the library and...
I'm keeping both eyes on Avarice because at this point I think she's doing something to skew things in her favor. I'm very suspicious of her since I caught her in her lie.
And you guys make it to the library, and Avarice says, "Thorg, if you have seen this book before, where would it be?" And he says, I don't know. I guess we start looking. Would Vega and Andy like to help look?
Sure.
You know what? You guys go ahead and look. I'm going to try and finish reading the book because then I won't mind lending it to this crazy woman who won't drop it.
So let's have you make a deception check for your claim of not reading the book. Because you read through the book.
Right. But then I was going to take my time completely reading it.
Right. But it's kind of one of those gray areas where it's like, yeah, I've read through the book, but then I'm going back through it again.
Yeah, that's fair. Let me see what my deception is.
I can't wait to get Zone of Truth.
That would be an 18.
Ah. So you say you haven't read the book, huh? For some reason, I just don't believe you. Surely someone as condescending as you are could read through this book in a matter of a night. I think it would take no more than 2 hours to just skim through and retain a lot of the knowledge held inside.
Even if he had read it, he's under no obligation to loan it to you. It belongs to him.
And Thorg is starting to look at Avarice, and he looks back to Andy, and he says, what's wrong with just giving her the book? It's never good when Avarice gets angry.
Because she wants it, because it has some sort of value that my friend here does not know about, and we cannot determine yet. She's lying. I can see it.
And Avarice will say, Thorg, if I wanted the book, I would take it by force. I can cast these two aside easily. I just simply wanted to take a look at the book peacefully and commendably.
Well, you can do that at your leisure when I'm finished with it.
We had agreed yesterday that once you had read it, which I think you have because you are an intellectual of sorts, I think you have already read it.
Well, that's your personal belief. It's not necessarily fact.
And if you are also an
Neither is your God.
If you are also an intellectual, you will understand that there's a difference between reading a book and reading a book.
I see. I will remember this.
I would
do
be
that.
surprised if you didn't.
And she will say, Thorg, we're not going to find the book in here. Let's go. And they leave the library.
Andy's going to turn to Vega and say, I am highly suspect of that nasty woman.
Right?
She's really, really vile.
And she really wants this fucking book, and I gotta figure out why.
I think we need to leave this place to figure out why. I think we should go to someone outside of here that can maybe cast Identify. If it's non-magical, I'm not sure if it would work, but it's worth a shot.
I suppose so. In the meantime, I want to finish reading this book.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because whatever is going on, it's clearly very important to her, and I think she's being deceptive. I think she wants it for herself, and for some reason, whoever reads the book first might get whatever benefit it might offer. I feel like it's one of those magical books, but if it didn't read as magical, then maybe not. Maybe it's something else.
I don't know.
But we'll find out.
There's
I'll help
something
you.
going on with it. Thank you.
All right. So, with that being all taken care of, and breakfast being brought up to Zizix, and Leoponte and Carcass outside, enjoying the sunrise, or coming back in for breakfast, sorry. What is your guys' plan?
Leon Ponte's plan was simply to just eat breakfast and then wait and hear exactly what the group is wanting to do.
How is the weather looking right now?
It's starting to come down pretty good.
Can I get any indication of how long this storm may last?
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a survival check when you step outside.
That'd be a 17.
A good while. You don't see any breaks in the sky. The sun is barely out. It's as dark as night, just about. The sky is quite ominous.
All right, yeah, we may have to stick to the original plan and stay here one more night and try and leave in the morning for Brinchander.
Guard that book carefully at night.
Absolutely.
All right. So, what would you guys like to work on during the day if you guys are holding up tight?
That dumb fucking book.
Okay. Anybody else?
Leon Ponte, is there anywhere inside that would be safe for him to practice with his boomerang?
Inside is actually right atop the staircase where there's the walkway that ties both bedrooms and the library side together. There's that kind of airspace up there on the second level that you can throw around.
Then Leon Ponte would like to go up there, and he will extend an invitation to anyone who would like to learn how to throw a boomerang.
Andy'll go.
Yes, I will go with you so I can watch you throw the boomerang.
All right. You guys are throwing the boomerang around for a while up there. Zezix, are you spending time in your Zontical zone?
Yep, just waiting for Lysander to come back with my gem.
And Lysander, what would you like to do?
I would like to go and talk to one of the guards.
Okay.
You wouldn't like to go get my gem, Lysander?
Out there throwing a boomerang around up there.
All right. You find a guard quite easily. What would you like to do?
Hey, friend, I was wondering if I could have a look at your guys' weaponry.
We keep a pretty light detail, but is there something in particular that you're looking for?
Something one-handed that can deal a fair amount of damage.
Oh, well, we definitely have a few long swords in stock if you are thinking of taking one of those.
Would that require two hands?
No, you can, but if you were to bear a shield, you can use a long sword in the other hand. It's those great swords you have to look out for with the two hands.
Ah, right. Yes. Do you have one that you might be able to spare?
Oh, yes, of course.
I'd appreciate it big time.
And he actually gives you the longsword that he has equipped.
But I didn't mean to take your sword.
Well, I can grab another. It's just quicker this way. I can resume patrol later.
Very well then. Thank you kindly. I tip my hat to him.
Milady.
No.
Alright. So easy enough, you got yourself a longsword for free.
That's fucking nice.
Awesome. I'll
Anything
take it.
else?
I guess I'll go upstairs and watch these guys throw this boomerang around. And I will be going up there carefully so as not to get hit.
Yes, of course. And you're up there and you see Lysander giving instruction on how to correctly flick your wrist to really get that nice curve in the boomerang.
Oh, cool. I'm telling them how to do it?
I'm sorry, did I say Lysander? Or did I...
Yeah.
Sorry, Leo Ponte.
Very good. How are we looking up here, everybody?
Andy kind of shrugs and says, "Oh, it's a pretty interesting weapon.
It looks it. You don't have to retrieve it. That's nice.
Yeah, it's very useful.
Leon Ponte will nod his head to Lysander and say, "Would you like to take a try?"
Sure, I'll give it a go.
Leon Ponte will hand him the boomerang.
Okay, go ahead and make a dexterity check.
That is an 8.
So it feels like that the flexibility in your wrist just isn't there, and you throw this boomerang like a stick and it lands across the hall.
I'm going to look at my wrist and bend it back and forth. Might need a little oil. Then I go and retrieve the boomerang, hand it back to LaPonte. Can you show me how you do it?
Leon Ponte will grab the boomerang and will throw it and wait for it to return.
And sure enough, it scales and gets broadside up against the air, cuts around, and comes back and returns, and Leoponte catches it.
It's as simple as a 1-2-C.
Did you learn that overnight? I take it.
Leon Ponte will hand the boomerang back to him to try again.
I'll try again.
Okay, go ahead and make another dexterity check.
That's a 21.
You actually pay a little bit more mind to how Leoponte was holding his wrist and how it moved, and you try to emulate that movement, and you're successful. And you're able to get it to return to you, and you catch it.
Well, I'll be damned.
Leon Ponte will give him a rather impressed look and say, "Not bad, my friend, not too bad at all."
I could get used to not having to fetch weapons. That'd be nice. I'll hand it to him with a grin.
Leon Ponte will chuckle and then be like, "Yeah, but this one is mine, so don't take it again."
Thank you for the lesson. Also, I want to thank you and Carcass particularly for your help in finding me the other day.
Oh, it's no trouble whatsoever. Carcass, did we have any trouble finding Lysander?
Oh no, he was very easy to find.
See, no trouble.
That's very good. I was pretty impressed how quick it took you guys to find me. I was out for most of it, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little worried, as I didn't tell anybody about my whereabouts.
Well, let's just say that my investigation skills are nearly as good as my thieving skills. So finding you was how you say, a jiff?
Naturally.
Plus, we got to kill things to find you.
I'm sure it was well deserved.
Yes, I liked it very much.
And Leon Ponte, now with everyone being pretty comfortable with the boomerang, is going to sheath it back on his belt and head back downstairs.
All right.
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay.
Andy's gonna go to her room to write in her journal for a bit.
Sounds good. And Carcass?
Oh, I don't want to go back to the room. I will just follow them downstairs.
Okay. Easy enough. What would you guys like to do?
Well, I'm going to continue my conversation with Leoponte. Be like, so Zizix told me that you had a kind of gem that he's looking at.
Yes, I may have acquired a gem that Zizix wishes to possess, yes?
Yeah, so what would it take for him to get that?
It would take the right amount of gold, or a trade that excites me a bit more than the gem, if you catch my drift.
And what might that be?
What do you have?
I don't have much to offer, if I'm being honest.
What about your hat?
No. Not that.
And Leon Ponte will shrug and say, let me know when you have something that you think is an even trade, and you know where to find me.
How much are you asking in terms of gold?
I would say no less than 80.
Tell you what. If this lead that Vega has ponies up the 50 gold that is promised, let's say I assist you in this endeavor, you keep my share, and I'll help you out along the way, wherever you need it.
That on top of the 40 that Zizix had previously offered me, and you have a deal, my friend.
So you want 90 gold plus service now?
I mean, I have 2 interested buyers. And I do believe the 50 was to be split amongst the entire group, no?
I got that it was 50 a person, but I may have misunderstood. Either way, I'll give you my share, plus the 40. I'll talk to Zizix about it.
Then upon completion of the job, you will have a deal and the gem will be yours.
I hold out a metal hand to shake.
Leon Ponte respectfully and confidently shakes the metal hand.
We're in business. Thank you. I tip my hat to him and I go up to the lab.
And Leon Ponte is simply going to just kind of wander around and take in the castle.
All right. So, what of when you return to the lab? Zizix's zontical zone.
I'm gonna knock on the door and let myself in to announce my arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my pink bearded friend. Might have some news.
Oh, did you get my gem?
Not quite. But him and I do have a deal. So, here's what's happening. Vega has a lead where we might be able to acquire some goods and some coin while we look for trouble with his lead's caravans that have been running into some trouble. I've agreed to give him 100% of my share and the 40 gold that you had promised him, along with some services along the way. So for exchange of services and my share and your gold, you will have it.
He drives a very hard bargain.
Seemed pretty important to you.
I mean, it is. And it's not like, what I'm working on is, small fish. This could be a game changer. But I mean, if that's the terms, then I guess that's the terms.
Yeah, scientific progress is never cheap. I should know. And then I wrap enough on my metal body.
Yes, it's hard to be in my line of business without having some financial backing. I need to find a sponsor.
We might have to look into that. But in any case, once we complete this job, the gem's yours.
Then why are we still here? Let's go!
There's a storm outside.
Never stopped it before.
Yeah, but we lost a tent doing that too, so we're gonna hunker down for one more night, and we'll set out tomorrow.
Tent Schmidt, we don't need no tents. I mean, when it's this cold, is a tent really gonna do anything?
It would for you guys. Besides, that's what the rest of the party has said too, so that is what we're going to do.
Well, okay. I guess that gives me some more time to work here.
That's looking at the sunny side.
I thought you said it was there's a big storm.
Never mind. In the meanwhile, I've accrued this, and I unsheathed the long sword that the guard gave me. So now I've got one for each hand. I pop my sickle and look at that and the sword at the same time.
Okay, what do you want me to do with that?
I don't know. Maybe work your magic and craft it into a blade, perhaps.
I mean, it's a sword. It's already a blade.
An arm blade.
That may be a little too big. Because the thing is, once it's extended, you can't really use your hand for anything else. I mean, it's kind of having like one big finger that's like 6 feet long.
That would be great for flipping off giants.
You fight a lot of giants? I thought they were like got killed off like 30 years ago.
Well, if we ever found one and he needed to be flipped off, there you have it.
I mean, if you got the nuts to flip off a giant, I don't think a 6-foot stick's gonna help.
Balls of steel.
No, they're made of chatelaine. Actually, I don't think you have nuts.
We're not going to talk about that. In any case, I'm going to shoot my longsword.
I mean, do you really have need for nuts at this point?
Again, we're not going to have this conversation.
Apparently, Zizix has never heard of a sex robot.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Wait, Nick, is Lysander's backstory that you're a sex robot? Because I missed that by like a mile.
I'm gonna pray for y'all.
So,
If you don't deal with shrimp, why did it?
Another time.
before we devolve any further, I feel like that's the point where I need to step in and go ahead and say, for the rest of the day, you guys go about doing what you're doing and doing the things that you want to do to fill your time. And by the time that the sun is set and dinner is served and all of that good stuff, you open up the doors to the front and you see Kadroth finally entering from his long journey, and he said, "I made it just in time. It's getting so much worse."
What's getting worse?
The weather. It's almost unbearable. Whew. And he quickly doffs his heavy winter coat and goes straight to the fireplace.
Are you in need of healing?
No, nothing like that. I'm just lucky to not have frostbite.
I'm Andy, by the way, and she'll hold out a hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was so inclined to get near the fire. It is
It's
very
okay.
nice to meet you. Are you a friend of Vega's?
Yes, I like to think so. She'll look at Vega.
Oh yeah, she's a good friend.
Well, you are then more than welcome here. Welcome to our humble abode, Care de Neva. The Care, as the townsfolk put it.
Thank you.
Now, I'm glad you guys are safe. I was worried on my journey that you may have encountered some issues, but sources say the storm could last for days.
Well, shit.
Do you have anywhere pressing to go?
Not necessarily.
Well, if that's the case, then bundle up and we're gonna try and ride this out. I think we should have enough food in stock to be able to sequester us to indoor only. There's talk that if it gets much worse, sacrifices are going to be made. And on that note, that is where we're going to end for the night.
So now we're getting quarantined in D&D 2.
What a great fucking joke, Billy. Goddamn.
Thank you. It's about time you noticed. I appreciate it.
And it hits it a little too close to home, I think, though.
A little, but I mean, it's a heavy winter setting, when you can't walk in the snow because it's 6 feet tall. What else you gonna do? You could always go though. I mean, let's be real. You guys could leave. Totally up to you. It's just a suggestion.
A lot of choice.
It's not like Kadroth is a CDC or anything,
Well, and if he was, apparently we wouldn't even have to listen anyway, so.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Alright. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in this week. Realize you guys got a lot of you have Thanksgiving to celebrate tomorrow, so thanks for spending your Thanksgiving's Eve with us. But we will be back next week, same time, same place.
Bye.
Bye.
Later, y'all.
Night.
Happy turkey.
Happy Turk indeed.